NFL Hall of Famer Fran Tarkenton is opening up his tech playbook to play defense for small and medium-sized businesses by launching a generative AI workspace called Pip IQ that cannot be permeated, whatever, in a Fox Business exclusive. Let's bring in former Minnesota Vikings quarterback Fran Tarkenton himself, founder and CEO of tech firm Tarkenton, along with company president Will Adams. Welcome to you both. Well, it's all very well and good that Accenture is a huge company, and now they are morphing with OpenAI and ChatGPT to put together something for IT professionals, but that opens a whole different can of worms, cracks that things can escape from, important embargoed or proprietary information, and most big companies can handle that, but what about the small and medium-sized ones?
They don't even know they have the problem. And so, and I have, I've been in business all my life. My first salary in 1961 with the Minnesota Vikings was $12,500.
Oh my gosh.
And so I worked. Every off season I got jobs. I worked for the Coca-Cola company. I worked for this company and that company. And then in 25, I started building my own companies. And what I learned is a lot of the same things that playing football. Every week that you play football is a new game. It's a new world. And you've got to adjust to that. You could, just because you won last week doesn't mean you're going to be successful the next week. Business is no different. You go and you think you've got it fixed, you know what you're doing, and then you get hit in the face. And so now technology is taking over. It's taken over sports, taking over the world, taking over business. And we're part of that, but we've been part of that the whole time I've been.
That's the thing, Fran. Most NFL players, I mean, the field is littered with those who had to file for bankruptcy because they didn't know how to save and they spent too much of their salary. Well, some others are pretty darn smart. I mean, I'm thinking of John Elway, who went into car dealerships and restaurants. A lot of these guys do that kind of business, but you, well before tech was cool, went into tech. How did that happen? Because you have launched since then dozens of tech companies.
Well, people hire us many times to just have a name to give them credibility. And that happens with some people. I went out and I started my own companies and built my own companies and got myself kicked here and kicked there. And you learn how to work it out and fix it and make it go. But you look some, our greatest companies have been around 50 and 60 years. But then there are a lot of great companies, JCPenney and Kmart and Sears Roebuck, they're gone. And they're gone because they didn't keep ahead of the curve.
Yeah, JCPenney is still alive, by the way, but in a whole different form.
A whole different
form. So, Will, Pip IQ, you guys worked on this, you developed it, it is homegrown. Tell me exactly what it does for small and medium-sized businesses, because a lot of people right now are using ChatGPT, Perplexity for their businesses, for productivity, but they don't realize it doesn't just work one way. Stuff that you put in it gets captured, and then we know that these large language models are scraping every single thing that's out there and then putting it out into the universe.
That's a great way to describe it, Liz, and that's exactly what we're out to solve. Is adoptability is a big thing. Microsoft 365 has embedded Copilot into its applications, and one of the things that we're seeing right now on the adoptability side is less than 2% have adopted that technology in the workplace. Instead, they're opting for some of the tools that you just described, ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, and they're doing that because of the simplicity. But along with that simplicity, they're not asking those very important questions that you just asked. Where is this data going? How is it being used? How could it be used? So oftentimes, you mentioned shadow AI when you opened up this segment. Employees are taking information, humans are going to human. If you've given the easy route, the quick way to go and get a job done, they're going to go and take that. What we're seeing is not a lot of education is happening. Big companies, small companies. So given the opportunity to go take information, could be contracts, could be personal identifiable information, put that into a chat bot to go and get some information back very quickly. Well, that customer, that partner, that confidential information, whoever that belonged to, that wasn't your information to go and provide to that public public chat tool. So we're providing a system to be able to anonymize all of that information so it is never exposed.
Never exposed. So you're almost making your own chatbot for these small and medium-sized enterprises that stays within a sealed guardrail. So give me an example of a company so that people can get a sense of exactly how they've been exposed. Can you give me an example of a company that endured a real problem?
Well, I cannot. He may be able to do that. But I'll tell you that we are not unlike sports. If you win a championship, they think you should win a championship every year. In businesses that go and make it, they've got to continue getting better. You cannot stop. You got to get. And so what's happening in the world right now with technology, I've never seen it in my lifetime go like this and solve the problems. And then we're solving a real problem that you and Will have talked about here. But although we built the product, we got to make the product better tomorrow, and we got to.
How about better in 10 minutes? Because these things are constantly changing.
Constantly.
Do you have an example, Will?
Yeah, there was a company actually based out of India that was being hired to build out a lot of different custom chat GPTs for different chatbots for different companies. They ended up exposing things like passports, medical records, things of this nature that companies, again, employees, loading these things into a chat tool. And if you go to like a company like ChatGPT and you go and explore the GPTs that are available, it's going to show you who the developers are of these things. But shouldn't you stop and ask, well, wait a minute, who are these developers? What type of security protocols do they have in place? What type of zero trust policies do they have? Do they have things in place like SOC 2 certifications, HIPAA certifications?
So this company, Whatnot, they misconfigured, I guess, a cloud bucket that they were putting a lot of data in.
Correct.
And this was with Google. Somehow it just spread out into the world.
Yeah. So there was, I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, not even having password protections in place. I mean, pretty elementary stuff that you would expect any technology provider worth their salt to provide.
So if I paid you with Pip IQ, what is it going to do for me to make sure that doesn't happen?
It's going to take care of you. I'll go to we have a game plan in football, and we got to have the right game plan, and that changes from day to day, from week to week, from month to month. And so you've got to have this kind of help to make sure that you're safe and that you could do your thing more efficiently. And I think and the big companies can afford to do all that. The little companies of the world are not able to. And we're bringing this product to them because we're cost effective. They don't have to pay $1 billion or $1 million. It's something that they can afford, and they need to use it because it will make them much more competitive in whatever business they're in.
Well, before we go, Fran, I cannot let you leave without asking you about football. You have the Broncos and the Patriots. They've got the best records in the NFL right now. Who gets to the Super Bowl?
32 teams have a chance, and the team that has been so good, Kansas City, has had 2 Super Bowls in the last few years, and they're not even showing up anymore. And last year's Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, not showing up anymore. 32, it's just a hard thing to do, but it's hard to get better. It's at Kansas City, same ownership, same coaches, same great quarterback, same players, and they may not make it this year. And that's how competitive the NFL is, and also college football. You've just got to get better every day, no matter how many games you're won in the.
Okay, so who? Pick a name, pick a team.
Pick a name. Well, it's not the Vikings, my team. It's not going to be them. But I think it's going to not be the teams that we hear of. Philadelphia has been there. I don't think they're going to do it. And I don't know if I have a team that will.
Oh my gosh!
But let me say this:
you're sitting on my set. The answer is simple: the Cleveland Browns. Stop laughing. I knew he'd laugh. Stop laughing.
Yeah, but you know some teams like Brady's not playing up in New England anymore, and they're doing really well, and so. There are 2 or 3 companies or franchises that that can get there. I think Philadelphia's gone, and I think some of the old guys are gone. But there'll be somebody jump out of the pile, as they always do, but it won't be someone who's done it in the Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago Bears, their founder of the Bears was the founder of the National Football League. His name was George Hallis. He was the coach. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 100 years, not quite 100 years.
Oh.
And they are now leading their division with a new coach and a new program, and
Yeah.
it might be them.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I remember they faced off against the Patriots. Super Bowl. Well, that was Icky, the Icky shuffle, but that was Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, I'm done with Ohio sports. Fran, it's great to see
Good to
you.
see you.
Thank you, Will. It's a pleasure to
Liz.
have you. Good luck to you both with Pip IQ. Although
Thank you.
you have a great track record in business, Fran.
Thank you.
You don't need my luck.